What's that? Are you ready, Mr. Chu? If not, Ms. Lopez
Yes, sir.
is eager.
I'm ready as my witness is coming forward. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairs and members. And I also want to start out by thanking the committee staff for working with my staff to clarify some of the technical aspects of the bill. Assembly Bill 2133 established a uniform appeal process for parents and child care providers. This bill provides a clear and consistent process for parents and child care providers to voice their concerns when they have reasons to believe that certain decisions or actions by an alternative payment programs are incorrect. Existing laws lacks a uniform policy for resolving discrepancies that may arise, which can cause serious problems for alternative payment programs, parents, and child care providers. AB 2133 is needed to ensure that families have a fair and consistent process that will increase the accuracy of child care payment distribution in California's vast early education system. AB 2133 will help ensure that all children have access to quality early learning and care program. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. With me today is Tonya McMillan, a child care provider and co-chair of the Child Care Advocacy Group, Raising California Together. Also with me is a former member, Dion Erner, representing SEIU and AFSCME as the co-sponsor of this bill. So, witnesses.
Thank you. They may proceed.
I'm also a proud member of SEIU Local 99. So I am here. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here today in support of AB 2133, the provider appeal process for child care subsidies through the alternative payment program by Assemblymember Chu. I have been a child care provider for over 20 years, and I can tell you in that time it has only become harder to earn a living doing the early education work that I love. Those of us who work in our homes earn just 1/3 of California's new minimum wage. And because we are not considered employees, child care providers are not covered by the minimum wage laws. This means that we will not benefit from the historic $15 minimum wage law that was passed at the Capitol a few short weeks ago. This fact makes it even more crucial that the current system in place to pay providers for their work is effective, and in instances where it's not, that there is a process in place where providers can resolve their grievances when issues do not get addressed at the local level with a payment agency. While many times the child care system does work well, the fact of the matter is that any hiccup has a devastating effect on our child care programs. Sometimes we are told weeks after the fact that a parent is no longer eligible for child care assistance, and there's no way for us to be paid for the work that we've already provided. When we're already living on the edge in poverty, a delay or denial of payment for one child means that we may not be able to put gas in our cars, amongst other things. A paperwork error leading to underpayment or late payment means we could have our utilities turned off. And let me tell you, child care with no utilities or running water, it just doesn't work. When providers receive payments when we expect them, we have the ability to pay our assistants, to buy food and supplies for the children, and everything else that makes a child care quality. And let me also say, who among us does not want to be paid on time and paid the amount that we are expecting? This is just a basic tenet of working. Under current law, there is no established process for providers to appeal these actions that depart from the agreed upon pay dates, amounts, rules, or procedures. Resolving business agreements shouldn't have to rely on the goodness of one person's heart. We need a fair and transparent process to fix concerns that affect our ability to keep our doors open. We need a simple, powerful and effective appeals process for providers, and we hope that we will never have to resort to using this appeals process, but nevertheless, we still need a consistent process across the state for when there are bumps that I have described earlier. AB 2133 would establish a clear and fair process for providers to have recourse for pay and other disagreements. And with AB 2133, we ask that you take action today to address a huge crack in our child care system. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. I'm Dion Ehrener, and I'm here on behalf of SEIU and AFSCME, who are the sponsors of this bill. You'll notice in the bill, and first I want to thank the consultant for an excellent analysis. It's really terrific. She's been very helpful. We've had very good conversations, and I think that in her analysis there is a pathway for us in regards to responding to the issues that you've just heard Tanya speak to. This is not about punishing alternative payment programs. It's not about setting up a fines and penalties section or anything like that. It's really about encouraging best practice and ensuring that there is some standardized way for us to have providers come forward when they have a problem with an alternative payment program and get it resolved. There's also a section for parents, and the reason it's mentioned in the analysis as well, why put it in statute? And with all due respect to the Department of Education that I have spent many years working with, they are not the swiftest in promulgating regulations. We are still waiting for regulations from 2004, pursuant to some very difficult hearings we had in those days around fraud, etc. And so it's much easier, to believe it or not, to come to the legislature when we need to make a change, because it can happen in a year's time. And so I think it's time to codify those regulations and put them into statute. The provider section is based similar to the parent section, because we thought that it should be as simple process as we could make it, as the parent process is right now in regs, which is a two-step process. The consultant has raised some very valid issues in regard to what do we do about, for example, the timeliness issue. And so the question I think that's been put to us, which we will hope to work with as the bill moves forward, is to figure out how does CDE get involved at that point. You know, what happens if if we have an alternative payment program where this situation happens over and over again? Where does the department? When is it appropriate for the department to step in and not have to wait many years until an AP is found to be so inappropriate that they have to change the vendor? So we're hopeful to work with all of our colleagues in the child care community, including the alternative payment programs who have some concerns, as well as the resource and referral networks who have some concerns, and as well as the department, who actually was the one who suggested to us that we might want to run a bill. So we're hoping for the committee's support. We ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Any others in support? Please come forward, state your name, affiliation, and position on the bill.
Michael Young on behalf of the California Labor Federation. We're also here in strong support.
Beverly Yu with UDW AFSCME Local 3930. We will be co-sponsoring this bill and ask your support as well. Thank you.
Any others in support? Seeing no others in support, any in opposition? Please come forward, yes.
Deneen Micheletti, representing the California Alternative Payment Program Association. So I want to go on record that we are not in opposition. We have some real strong concerns that we need to address moving forward. So I appreciate the testimony given and the needs of providers, but I need to give some background to clarify that I'm not sure the way that we're approaching it is appropriate. So our community-based alternative payment programs, created in the 1970s, were created to support the needs of working families. And in order for a family to qualify for a child care subsidy, they go through a need and eligibility process, and they're given a benefit certificate. It's important to understand that benefit certificate, because the alternative payment program is built on the cornerstone that our clients are our families, and it's built on parental choice. We understand the needs of the providers, but we also look at the providers as their clients too are the parents. So AB 2133 has two components, and as was mentioned, the first component is the parent appeal process. And the concern that we have in a nutshell with the parent appeal process is, as was noted, we have an existing parent appeal process in Title V. And the new language expands the timelines that appeals could be provided. The timeline is very cumbersome and creates scenarios where childcare slots have to be held open. Could be, if you look at all the timelines, up to 125 days where a childcare provider, if a parent's filing an appeal, has to hold a childcare slot open. So we're concerned with that. The other concern is there's some notification requirements that they're noting for agencies to notify parents and providers of the outcome from the Early Education Support Division. Again, that's an administrative burden we're not funded to do, and it's a huge cost issue for us. Finally, in situations, like I said, if a termination is going through, the provider really is in a precarious situation in that they have to hold that child care slot open. And then if they fill the slot, what happens if a parent does win the termination? Finally, I want to speak to the process wherein we did get these Title V parent appeal process. Roughly about 5.5 years ago, the Department of Ed convened a stakeholder process, and there were about 70 organizations involved. There were unions, child care centers, alternative payment programs, providers, CalWorks, advocacy groups, and it's one of the highlights that I can say for the Department of Ed that the result was an outcome positive for the whole field. In querying our field in preparation today, I don't have any concerns that the parent appeal process, as was developed, isn't working. This makes it more cumbersome, so I would reconsider putting something in statute. This was one case I'd like to say it actually worked. In regards to the provider appeal, let me bring you back again. The cornerstone of the alternative payment program is that it's for parental choice. As proposed in AB 2133, this bill creates a direct link from alternative payment programs to providers. That's concerning. Every year we have numerous providers file claims with the Internal Revenue Service and the Department of Labor contending that they are employees of the alternative payment program. The saving grace in the decisions where they are ruled not employees of the alternative payment program is because it's very clear. The alternative payment program has a direct relationship with the parent and the family, not with the provider. We're real concerned that the language as proposed graze that area, and if we go down the path that the providers become employees of alternative payment programs, then I don't know how the system's going to function. You're going to go, in the reality, our exempt providers make a deplorable rate, under $5 per hour overall, but immediately if you move to that employee, you're going to be looking at $15 per an hour for child care providers. So I would say proceed very cautiously. We have confusion around again, we support providers taking their concerns to a complaint process, but providers have concerns regarding licensure. It's not with the alternative payment program. And let me wrap up. In addition to the concerns that I noted above, just recognize we're overhauling the Child Care Development Program now with the reauthorization of the Child Care Development Block Grant. We're going to be moving to 12-month eligibility, fingers crossed, with AB 2150. There's an opportunity to streamline the reporting for providers also, and for parents, and to tighten up some of these issues raised. Thank you.
Any others in opposition? Seeing no others in opposition, any comments from the committee? Do we have a motion?
I'll move the bill.
Second. Moved and seconded. You may close.
Would you? Yes. I'd like to respond to a couple of the issues.
No. That's not. The time is not now to respond. Mr. Chu, please close.
Okay, great. Well, I respectfully ask for your vote.
Thank you. Secretary, please call the roll.
O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson. Kim? McCarty? Aye. McCarty, aye. Santiago? Thurmond? Weber? Aye. Weber, aye.
3 votes. The bill has 3 votes. It is on call, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you very much.
The motion was due pass to the Appropriations Committee.
Thank you.
Ms. Lopez, please come forward. File item number 1. You may proceed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. I would like first to start by accepting the community amendments. Today, I'm proud to present AB 1846, which will be adding an additional $250 million for the general fund to restore adult education back to 2007, funding levels of $750 million. Before I became a member of the Assembly, I was a student who took ESL classes, family literacy, and career courses through adult education system. As an immigrant mother, I want to make sure that my four daughters were going to have the same opportunities as everybody else. To make sure that was possible, I knew I had to learn English to become my own advocate for my children. I began my education at North Valley Occupational Center in the San Fernando Valley. After I taken several classes, I was available to help other immigrants' moms to learn about the school system and became more engaged in the political system. Wherever my story is only one of many that could be told, many immigrants came to California, the United States, to seek a better life, which adult education played a major role in. Over the years, adult education has many cuts for funding, closed 65 schools across the state. This has led many opportunities without the service they needed. By restoring adult education, many parents will be available to their own advocates, starting by pathways to being citizens and even have the chance to become assembly member. Today with me, I have witnesses to speak and support.
Hi, my name is Patricia Van Valkenburg. I'm an immigrant from Cuba. I came to this country when I was like 10 years old, and I lived from 10 years old, moved to Mexico, and from Mexico to Texas and to California. Yeah, I had a secret. My husband is from California, and I never did tell him that I didn't know how to write in English because I was fluent language. My first language was in Spanish. So we had some problems with paying bills, which we paid the bills, but I would always write everything in Spanish. And I was real ashamed about that because I never did tell my husband until he had a friend that talked about Berkeley Adult School, and is coming from a lot of immigrants coming from Mexico, Cuba, or Brazil, or Portugal. A lot of them are adults like me. We're kind of ashamed of going back to school thinking, that we don't know anything. But when I went to the Berkeley Adult School, I met a lot of people in my same condition. They know how to speak English, but they don't know how to write it. So I was one of those people as well. So once I got to the Berkeley Adult School, I learned how to write my English, and I had some wonderful teachers. And today I'm successful having a coffee kiosk at the Berkeley Adult School. And my two children are both in San Francisco State going to college. So I owe the Berkeley Adult School a lot. Plus it gave me courage, opportunity to go back to college myself. I'm going back to be teacher's aide to work with special needs children, and also being bilingual, I can help other people in the community as well. So I'm going to wrap it up and just tell you, let's hope you please support the Berkeley School Identified School District, and adult education does matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support?
Me. Hi, my name is Serena Ashby. I'm a student now at Berkeley Adult, and I just like to start off by saying I will be graduating in June with my high school diploma. It's been a long time coming. I'm very excited. And yeah, that's about all.
Great. Thank you. Good. Any others in support?
Leilani Aguinaldo-Yee on behalf of the Los Angeles Unified School District in support.
Chair and members, Ashley Situde with Nossaman on behalf of the North Orange County Community College District in support.
Hi, Jill Rice with the California Federation of Teachers in support.
Terry Burns, California School Boards Association, very much in support of restoring funding for adult programs to where it was before the recession. We would like to support the bill if amended to clarify the funding sources on top of already existing.
Thank you. Anybody in opposition? Seeing none in opposition, I'll bring it back. Thank you, Ms. Lopez, for the bill. I know how important adult ed is. You know, it's really the pathway to America, a pathway to the middle class, a pathway to being successful. So, you know, as one who taught it for about 7 years, give or take, I learned more from my students than they ever learned from me. But with the great stories in that classroom, really, impactful. Teaching students who are so dedicated to learning and in America, quite frankly, and what it had to offer. So I applaud your bill. With that, I'll turn it back to any other committee members who wish to comment. Mr. McCarty.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is kind of a crossover issue. We had a big debate or discussion in our budget subcommittee on this topic, and I support the bill going forward and talking about this important issue. I know Ms. Lopez came and testified at the hearing, and hopefully we're going to be looking at this issue with the May revision and looking how the first piece has been implemented. And I just wanted to tell you, I know you're very brave talking about your story and going to adult education. As I told you, you're not the only assembly member. After a very uninspiring high school career a few miles down the road, I went to my local adult ed through credit recovery and retook a couple classes and was able to get my high school diploma and move on and eventually serve here with you today. So I think people in all walks of life benefit from adult education, and I know we've reformed it, but there are still fewer course offerings, and so I support the bill going forward, and I hope that too, with our budget discussions, we can talk about ways to expand adult education in California. So did I move the bill already? If not, I'll move the bill.
I'll second. Bill's been moved and seconded. You may close.
I just respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Secretary, please call the roll.
O'Donnell?
And the motion is due pass as amended to the Appropriations Committee. O'Donnell's aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson? Kim? McCarty? McCarty, aye. Santiago? Thurmond? Weber? Weber, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill's on call, has 3 votes.
Excuse me. Mr. O'Donnell?
Which one are you here for? 2862.
2862, and you have
We'll get you going.
2785 as well. 2862? Okay, fine. Item number 21.
Are you ready, Madam Chair?
Yes, we are.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. AB 2862 authorizes the updating of California's academic content standards in visual and performing arts, ensuring that California students have access to state-of-the-art curriculum, instruction, and instructional materials in the arts. Extensive research demonstrates the connection between arts education and student engagement. I know that through my own children, my own classroom experience as well. Arts education contributes to higher test scores and reduces truancy and dropout rates. It really engages a student from my perspective. But California's current standards and the instructional materials used in our classrooms were adopted over 15 years ago. Since then, major changes have occurred in teaching and learning. The most notable changes in the adoption of our Common Core standards. Arts education provides key opportunities for critical thinking and inquiry, hallmarks of the state's Common Core state standards. But our current arts curriculum is out of alignment with these standards. The state's VAPA standards are also not aligned with current career technical education instruction. 10% of California's jobs are in the creative industry, and 8% of the state's productivity is related to the arts. It is in our academic and economic interest to provide students the most current and relevant instruction in the visual and performing arts. There is no authorization in current law for the state to update these standards, or any standards for that matter. In the long run, our state's teachers and students need a predictable way for the state to update its standards. But today we're talking specifically about the arts. In the meantime, it's important that we support measures like this one as our means of ensuring that our students have access to the most up-to-date curriculum, instruction, and instructional materials is an absolute necessity. And in support today, I have the co-sponsors of the bill. I have Armelin De La O, President of the California Arts Education Association and Visual and Performing Arts Coordinator for San Bernardino County. I also have Steve Hedgecock, President of the California Music Educators Association and Choral Director at Fullerton Union High School Academy of the Arts.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Chairman O'Donnell and members of the committee. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you today about the need for new California visual and performing arts standards that reflect 21st century teaching, pedagogy, and learning in the arts. My name is Armelin De La O, and I'm currently the president of California Art Education Association. Over my career, I've had the honor to serve as an arts educator in the following capacities: the development of National Board Professional Teaching Standards in Music, writer of our current California Music Standards, and a writer of the new National Core Art Standards in Music. It's been 15 years since California adopted art standards. In that time, many changes have taken place within education, the arts, technology, and student learning expectations. AB 2862 calls for the much-needed updating of our state art standards. California students deserve visual and performing arts content standards which support developing competencies in dance, music, theater, and visual arts, as well as broader skills necessary for success in college and career in the 21st century. The new National Core Art Standards are research-based, include current disciplinary pedagogy, support students' content literacy development, reflect the role and use of new technologies in arts disciplines, and move arts education from the 20th century into the 21st century. The new National Arts Standards support embedded curricular approaches of content literacy and language development found in other recently adopted California content standards and can easily serve as the basis for California standards. Arts teachers across the country using these new standards are experiencing a smooth transition and finding them relevant for today's learners. With any adoption of new sets of standards, professional learning for teachers and administrators must take place to support implementation. The California Arts Project, the state subject matter project for the arts, provides ongoing standards-based professional learning and leadership across the state for arts and career arts educators. The Arts Project is prepared to support new standards implementation and collaborate with the California Department of Education, the 4 arts education organizations, and county offices to support visual and performing and career arts. In closing, AB 2862 will allow California to begin the process of adopting new art standards to prepare students for college and careers of the 21st century.
Thank you. Okay. You have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Scott Hedgecock, and I am president of the California Music Educators Association, CMEA, and we are proud to co-sponsor AB 2862. I'm also the choral director at Fullerton Union High School Academy of the Arts in Fullerton. First, I'd like to thank our author, Patrick O'Donnell, for carrying this important piece of legislation that creates a pathway for the revision of California's visual and performing arts standards. Let's start with an historical perspective to illustrate the critical need for the bill. Back in 2000, Senate Bill 1390 was signed into law to update and review the visual and performing arts standards. Educational policy priorities, instructional practices, educational resources, and technology have advanced significantly in the past 15 years. CMEA believes that the standards are in need of revision to ensure that California students receive the most updated and aligned visual and performing arts curriculum. Standards provide the crucial roadmap that guides a teacher's instruction. Therefore, new standards are needed to best prepare our students to be creative, critical thinkers, as well as effective communicators and collaborators. Visual and performing arts instruction is mandated by the Education Code as part of the K-6 curriculum and must be offered to students in grades 7 through 12. At the local level, districts are required to specify how they are providing students with all curriculum, including the visual and performing arts, in their local control accountability plan. AB 2862 will provide the updated standards to guide that instruction. The 2015 Otis report on the creative economy found that 10% of California's jobs are in the creative industry, and and 8% of the state's gross state product is related to the arts. These jobs are in multiple industries from entertainment to technology. It is in California's best economic interest to provide our students with the most current instruction in the visual and performing arts to prepare them for careers of the 21st century. With the recent federal revision of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, replacing No Child Left Behind with the Every Student Succeeds Act, in which all students are guaranteed a well-rounded education, with music and the arts being called out as core subjects, we in California must get up to speed with our instruction within the visual and performing arts. It truly is time for an updated visual and performing arts curriculum. I ask for your support for AB 2862. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Any additional witnesses in support?
Hello, my name is Jessie Cronenberg. I'm the co-president for the California Dance Education Association, here in support. Also here to represent my colleagues in theater, the California Educational Theater Association is also in support. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Kathy Lynch, representing the California Alliance for Arts Education and Strong Support. Thank you.
Erica Hoffman with California School Boards Association. I don't have a formal support. I will be taking it to my Ledge Committee next week, but it's very important that we get these standards developed. We've got frameworks also backing up. We need to get these developed in all subject areas. Thank you.
Donna Archukovich, the California State PTA. We supported SB 725 last year, and so we are probably going to support this tomorrow. So we urge your yes vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Any witnesses in opposition? Tweeners?
I was in the back of the line, sorry. Martha Zaragoza Diaz, representing the California Association for Bilingual Education, and we strongly support the bill.
Thank you. Any additional supporters? Great. I'll bring it back to committee for questions, comments. Okay, I'll make a not a big comment, a brief comment, and that is I think this is a great bill. I agree with the School Board Association. We really need to get moving on these frameworks. I'm a beneficiary of performing arts education myself, strongly support the bill. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Secretary, please call the roll. The motion is due pass to appropriations.
O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson?
Aye.
Olson, aye. Kim? Kim, aye. McCarty? McCarty, aye. Santiago? Thurmond? Weber?
Aye.
Weber, aye.
You have 5 votes. That bill is out.
Let me do this one quick. Because I've got to go to labor.
Okay, so are you staying, Mr. Chair, for your next bill?
It's 2785.
AB 2785? Item 19.
How are you?
I'll remind the chair this is another support.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I'd like to start by accepting the amendments recommended by the committee staff. AB 2785 requires the California Department of Education to develop a manual to guide educators in evidence-based methods of identifying, assessing, and serving English learners who may have disabilities. This bill addresses a long-standing problem, the inappropriate identification of English learners for special education services. The problem was first identified in the 1960s, and unfortunately, it remains a challenge today. Data strongly suggests that California English learners are not appropriately identified and assessed for special education. The most telling sign is that our English learners qualify for special education services at a rate 60% higher than their peers. This is actually a dual problem, the over-identification and under-identification of English learners for special education services. Over-identification can happen when language barriers are mistaken for disabilities or when students aren't given accommodations or assessments which would allow them to show what they really know or are capable of. Under-identification can happen when disabilities are mistaken for language learning needs, or when educators wait until students are proficient in English to investigate a possible disability. Both of these problems can result in inappropriate placements and services which hold students back from academic progress. The good news is that with guidance and professional development, this can change. AB 2785 will give our educators the tools and skills they need to ensure that our English learners have the most appropriate placements and instruction for their individual needs. In support today, I have two people representing both English learners and special education. With me is Anna Donovan of the Palmdale Unified School District, representing Californians Together and the California Association for Bilingual Education, and also Alice Kessler, representing the Special Education Local Plan Area Administrators of California, the SELPAs. With that, my witnesses.
Thank you. Witnesses, please proceed. You have 2 minutes each.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Anna Donovan, and I am here representing the California Association for Bilingual Education in California Together. I'm an education specialist, and I have extensive experience in providing services and coordinating services for English learners who also have learning disabilities. Based upon my experience, educators have a difficult time in accurately determining if an English learner has only a language need or if indeed they have a disability, such as an auditory processing disorder, requiring instruction that addresses both their language and learning needs. Oftentimes, educators cannot distinguish whether it is one or the other, or both, resulting in misidentification of an EL pupil as requiring special ed services. To address this problem, AB 2785 proposes the development of a manual to guide educators in evidence-based methods of identifying, assessing, and serving English learners who have disabilities, as well as laying the foundation for professional development on this topic. This invaluable tool will assist educators in distinguishing whether an English learner has a language need only or whether the EL also has a learning needs requiring special education services. Please provide the tools necessary for teachers to be able to serve their pupils well, especially pupils in a special education environment. Vote yes for AB 2785. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next witness.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Alice Kessler. I'm here on behalf of the SELPA administrators of California and our 135 members statewide, and we're pleased to support the legislation. As the chair mentioned, the bill addresses the dual problem of over and under identification, and research indicates that at the heart of those problems are things we can modify, things we can address, such as better understanding of language acquisition, exposure to best practices, and increased coordination between English learner and special education programs. So we agree that educators could benefit from state guidance in this area. And in fact, the SELPA, the state SELPA organization has been advocating for a state technical manual on English learners with disabilities since 2007. And one of the nice things that this bill does is directs the CDE in development of the manual to look at existing models such as the ones that we have been developing. So we think it'll help bring the work we've done to scale in the state and get folks together to look at this issue for our students, and we're highly supportive, so would ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Kessler. Additional witnesses, name and affiliation only, please.
Leilani Aguinaldo-Yee on behalf of the Los Angeles Unified School District in support.
Barrett Snyder, we have the Santa Clara County Office of Education in support.